Hi guys, so if you have a Gio Tetris mobility scooter and if you ever need to remove your wheel because you're trying to do some repairs, maybe it's not possible to do repairs from the outside, has to be patched from the inside, or maybe you are replacing the inflating valve, or if you're replacing a complete wheel that you purchased because you damaged your rim. So you need to know how to do the proper replacement. For many of you it's pretty obvious, but for some of you you never did it before, so you have to know what to do and what kind of tools you need. So this is what I'm going to use: 1/2-inch ratchet, flat screwdriver, 19mm semi-deep or deep socket, or you can use short socket with the extension, and 21mm. So 19 and 21, that's essential tools. Without them you cannot remove nothing. I'm also going to use a wooden block. This is a 6-inch block that I made out of 2 blocks. Each block is 3 by 3 inch, so I need 6-7 inch of clearance for the lifting point. Now for some of you that never knew about this lever right here, this lever will let you, if you push it down, it will let you to roll your scooter inside of the garage, for example, or even in emergency situation. You have some problems with the scooter, it needs to be towed, rolled, pushed, then you push this lever down. So but if you're removing the wheels, you have to leave it in up position, just like you would be driving on a daily basis, so the motor will be locking the axle. Now the next step would be removing the plastic cover caps on the middle, because behind those caps you will have actual nuts that hold in those wheels. So you will need flat screwdriver and look for the spot all around this cap so you can pry it out. There is a special notch made on this plastic cap for that flat screwdriver. Now there is a 19mm nut on the front, and my advice would be to lose this nut, break loose this nut while the scooter is still on the ground, because if you will lift it up, it will not be that safe to make those nuts loose unless you have an impact tool. So because I'm showing this manual way with the ratchet, this is the best option. I'll do the same on the rear wheel, because I'm going to cover this both wheels information, how to remove both wheels, in one video. Removing the rear plastic cap can be made from any position. You don't have to look for any notch or cutout. It's a different shape of a plastic cap, and there is lots of room in between the rim and the actual cap. Okay, now I'm doing the same, break and loose this nut right here, and as you can see, the rear rim is deeper than the front one. That's why you rather have a deep socket or extension, and just break it loose. The rest of it will go by hand. Now when it comes to lifting up the scooter, you can lift it up from the front or from the back, especially if you have a low clearance jack that can go underneath of underneath of the front A arm, or you can use the same wooden block, like 6-inch block, but you will have to lift up your scooter by grabbing with this bumper and handle all in one. But the scooter is pretty heavy, especially rear, because the motor and the batteries. So I rather tilt this scooter on the side instead of lifting it from the front or from the back. So that's why I have this 6-inch block made, and I'm going to slide it underneath of this rear swing arm. And I can do it with one hand. My other hand is holding the camera, so I'm simply tilting scooter, and with my foot I'm sliding underneath of the scooter. This way both wheels are off the ground, as you can see. Now I can continue to remove those nuts and slide out my wheel. It comes out fairly easy. If you have any problem with removing this wheel because it's been sitting tight for a while, just try to hammer it out with a plastic rubber hammer, mallet I mean, from the inside, or with your hand, and it should come out. Because realistically nothing is holding that wheel anymore after you remove the nut, and it should come out easy. This is how everything looks inside. From the inside of the wheel you can see the bearing. If it ever comes to replacing, nobody usually replaces those bearings because they last basically forever, unless there was a manufacturing fault or maybe some salt involved. If you've been driving in the winter time, maybe it's got behind that plastic cover and they started to make squeaking noise or grinding noise. But never happened before to anyone, so I don't think it's going to be your case. Now when you're going to remove your rubber from the rim and you're going to do it yourself, try to pry it out from the inside, because you will leave some marks and dings on the aluminum rim, and it will be cosmetically ugly if you will be doing from the outside. So if you can, do it from the inside, because your tire iron or tire spoon will make some marks. Or simply take this wheel to a local tire shop. They should know what they're doing, how to avoid any marks, because they're doing this for living I mean. And on many of the lawnmower tractors and stuff, equipment like that, this is the same style. When it comes to installing your existing wheel back in place, or brand new wheel that you received, make sure that this spacer inside, there is a spacer tubing inside. Let me move it purposely so you can see what could be wrong. I hope you can see. Anyway, if you see this spacer, that means that it's not aligned and it's not sitting properly. So take a screwdriver and align it. It's a piece of pipe that is like a 3 or 4 inch long, that is sitting between two bearings, between this one and this one. And if it's not sitting straight, you should see through that hole clearly before you install it. If it's not sitting straight, you will not be able to install it with one hand, just like I am doing right now. Then reinstall your nut and retighten that nut only when the scooter is on the ground, because if you try to apply some force, tighten that nut, that scooter might not be sitting, you know, that stable on that block. There is a big chance that it will come off that block and damage yourself or, you know, scooter. Anyway, do the same on the rear wheel, and you have a spacer right here. It's like a lock-in washer. I believe it's working like a spacer. And this one will come out even much easier, because the rear wheel does not have any bearings or spacers. It's just sitting on the splines, which are lubricated from the factory. So pretty straightforward procedure. And installing it back and retightening only when the scooter is on the ground. So by hand, now I'm tilting it and removing, and only now applying some force, nothing crazy, just that nut will sit tight, and install protective cap back with the fist, and do the same on the front 19mm socket. Just make it tight. Okay, well, this is it. I think that that was pretty helpful video for somebody who never did it before. Now you know what this is all about. Well, God bless you guys, whoever owned this scooter, whoever watching this video. God bless Canada, God bless America. Bye.